Okay, so let's take a look at the game as it is now, and you'll see that I put score boxes in the bottom right and the bottom left. And I will show you how I did that in code in just a minute. Okay, so the first thing you should notice is that in the dialog editor I put objects down here and here. Then I created two functions here. One set the player score, one set the enemy score. And I have some variables that I use to keep global track of these right here. So the next thing I wanted to make sure that I could do was move the player piece. That's the red square in the middle. So we have to move that around, otherwise the enemies are going to come and immediately pounce on you. And the code that I added to support this was in pre-translate message. Let's move this over so you can see it a little bit better. So I added a pre-translate message function that actually is an override, and then I just, for say a right key, I get the row and column, and I just check to make sure that it's not out of range and there's nothing in its place. So to simulate an actual Pac-Man style game, I went ahead and had these magenta pieces. They're supposed to be power pills, and the player eats them, and as the player eats them he gets score. You can notice that the player score is incremented. Okay, and once actually all these power pills are eaten, then it resets the board. So I had to do that in order to make it an actual playable game, because otherwise there was no objective for the player except to not get eaten by the enemy. So I have this 2D array called Power Grid, and as long as there's nothing, the grid isn't a wall piece, I go ahead and put a power piece there. So this is how I actually generate and populate that grid. And then in order to draw the power pills, I just check in the on paint to see if the grid has nothing in it, and then I go ahead and squeeze it in a little bit so it's a smaller rectangle than the normal piece rectangles, and I go ahead and draw it. So it's a pretty simple way to draw these sort of pseudo power pills. So the last thing I did in order to make this game actually playable was to have the enemies, when they actually got to the player, to kill the player and reset the board. So I've already shown you this a couple of weeks ago, this part of it. And for safety, I went ahead and added this, because when that was true, less than or equal to 1, what that means is that you're adjacent to the actual player piece. And I already had this code there. But now what I did was, when that's true, I give the enemy 100 points. I call the set enemy score method, and then I reset the game, so you can continue playing from a freshly set board. So in conclusion, even though this is a fairly simple game and there's not much to it, you could actually take this game and my approach to developing this game, and you could go ahead and create a much more complex game. But the basic approach I took is maybe something that you should probably consider doing yourself. And I do encourage you to experiment around, and this is posted on SourceForge for you.